I was born and raised in Argentina, a small little town called Lules in Tucumán, northwest of Argentina. I worked my entire life. I started working at the age of 5. I mentioned with you many times the story of growing on cold showers and and just working with along my father. And by the age 21, I came here. So just regular working people.
Here to the U.S., right? At 21 is when you
Yes,
moved
at
to the
21,
United
I
States.
came to the United States. Correct. Yes, 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 yes.
Where'd you go exactly? What city did you go to at 21?
It was Hollywood. It was Hollywood.
Hollywood, Florida.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. At the age of 16, I heard the story of the best friend of my aunt. She was working doing value parking, and by doing value parking, she was driving in a Honda Civic.
Hmm.
And I like cars, so I at the age of 16, I said, "Screw it." Um, when I'm 21, I'm gonna go to Miami and be a valet parking. So that was the dream.
The dream to get to that Honda Civic. Hey, it's a good
Yes,
car.
I never had it, but I never had a Honda Civic. But I got to be a valet parking for many years actually.
And so that's how it started. That was the first job when you arrived here in the States, valet
No,
parking.
no, that was the second. When I remember I came here on a Thursday, and by Monday I was working on industrial laundry, just cleaning bed sheets and gowns for the hospitals, that kind of stuff. I worked there for about 5 to 6 months. And in month 4, I already started working as a value parking. So I had 2 jobs for 2 months, and then I completely the transition into value parking for about 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years. Must have
Yes,
made some nice tips. Seen some
yes,
interesting
yes, yes,
cars, some
yes.
interesting people. So that's what you did in the first half of your 20s. And when you look back at your 20s as, the decade of your 20s, what was the most significant thing that happened during your 20s? When you reflect on your 20s as a decade of your life, what was the most significant thing that happened there? Your first few 9 years or so in the U.S. Maybe it's a move here to the U.S., but maybe it's something else that happened. What was the most significant thing?
Well, I can tell you by when I was living already here for a year and a half, that's when I met my wife, Paola. I always say that it was beautiful because I see that nowadays it's kind of a hard to find your significant one, significant other, and we found ourselves very young, so we grew together. We were 2 kids, 23 years old, and we grew together, and that is the one of the most significant parts. Is one of the biggest gift this country gave it to me was my family, honestly. But I can tell you that I was feeling the feeling that I can tell you that describe is a kid on a candy store because
Mhm.
everything was. I'm coming from a small town, so looking the I-95, 5 lines going, 5 lines coming, it was something out of a movie for me.
In
The
in Argentina, had you ever been to a big city? Like, had you been to Buenos Aires specifically?
only when I was 8.
Eight. Okay.
Yes, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
And the and the
no,
high and the highways don't 40 years ago of Buenos Aires don't compare with Miami when you move here
no, not at all.
nowadays.
And it was for me. It was everything was new. And if you look at the pictures that at the pictures of those days, you will see this kind of a kid being surprised by how magnificent this country, how big everything is, right? It's just the street, the cars, the houses. I mean, it was everything was big. And so I was like, so you can see a big smile in my face on all the pictures. It's like I'm going, I'm trying to take a mental note, and it's all my pictures there. Like, I'm a kid. on a playground, looking at something new. It was magical, honestly. That was.
And when you arrived here, you probably didn't speak much English. How would you rate your English when you arrived here in the country at 21?
I thought I spoke English until my first interview because I knew from school, I am Gonzalo. How old are you? Yes, no, that
Yeah,
kind of stuff. Speak slowly, please.
yeah.
Uh, so the lady comes to me on the laundry and she goes, "Do you speak English?" And I go, "Yes." And she starts speaking. And then she sees my face and immediately said, "You don't speak English." you know Actually, no, I got to learn the language here.